get in today's video, I want to quickly share something with you guys. So I've been shopping on Temu lately, and just to warn you, Temu has everything. So if you're going to go there, you're going to find everything you need under the sun for your life. So just warn of caution. But if you're new to the Temu app, you can actually get a $100 coupon bundle. All you have to do is download the Temu app and search my code. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen and in the search bar. And then when you search it, it'll pop up and you can claim it. So new users can claim it once, and it's valid for 24 hours after you claim it. So it's perfect if you're already planning to shop on Temu, or if you have 1,000 items in your shopping cart like I do at the moment. So I'll put the code, as I said, on the screen, and the QR code as well, just in case if you want to scan it quickly. So I got a lot of floral arrangements because I wanted to do an arrangement for my formal dining. So I got tulips, hydrangeas, greenery. They're super cheap. I showed some of the screenshots from the Temu app here on the screen, but as I said, super affordable. Those of you that have bought flowers or florals from, craft shops and all that, before, know that they can be very pricey because you have to get a lot. But tip, trick, hack, whatever you want to call it, get them on Temu. They're super cheap and you get a lot in a bundle. Here's how I made my beautiful artificial floral arrangement with all my supplies from Temu. So I got pool noodles, moss, planters that look like concrete, but they're actually plastic. And I got a beautiful arrangement of florals. So I had tulips, baby's breath, hydrangeas, regular flowers, greenery, all of it. So I decided to go with the pool noodle as my base because it was easier to work with. It's not as messy as the moss, and it was long enough to make for my table to fit. So it was like a good arrangement for the size. So I started as my base with the greenery, making sure that I placed it so there was different heights and dimensions and textures to make it all look, nice. Then I went on to put the hydrangeas. I only had 3 huge hydrangeas, so I centered them first on my pool noodle, and then I built around it with the rest of the florals. So I started to use just the white and the pinks to go with the neutral kind of look of my formal dining. And then adding the tulips, I wanted to do clusters of 3 to be dynamic. That's what they say, right? To make it have depth, texture, or whatever. I'm not a florist, but it came out perfectly. It fit my table so well. So make sure you check out Temu. They literally have everything under the sun. I don't know what they don't have, but all these supplies are crazy, crazy, super, super cheap, all on Temu. Check it out. Anyways, shop Temu. Don't forget to use the coupon code for $100 coupon, and happy shopping. Hey guys, so it has been a long time, so we'll not even address it, but Happy New Year. I wanted to do a life update video talking about how things have been, how things went in 2025, what I've been doing, things coming up, and I miss you guys. I know that I get so many messages from people talking about when you're coming back to YouTube, when you're going to be making, regular videos, etc. But I am here. I am trying to figure out, as I've been for a long time, just how to structure, the content that I want to do for YouTube. I love vlogging, but it's just, my life is like, I feel like my life is so on the go. Like, it's so busy. It's so organized, chaotic situation that it's hard for me to vlog. And also I'm working on so many projects that it's like my days it's the same, and it's very boring, and it's very like just working, throughout the day. So it's not much is going on. However, I did travel a lot in 2025. We did go a lot of places, and I feel like I could have vlogged, but I vlogged in Costa Rica at least. I could have vlogged more with our travels, but those times that we traveled, it was like go, and then we travel, and it's like an escape from the daily, and I just want to do nothing. and then as soon as we get back, it's right back into go, 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 go. So it's like, I need to like shut off. I need to just not like, just live mindlessly. So it's hard to vlog. And then you have 2 kids, you're juggling them, you know, it's just not it. So but however, I need to be more intentional with, okay, I have this event or this travel coming up, and I will dedicate, okay, I will vlog this trip, or I'll vlog this event. I won't vlog this event, just to get it in myself mentally that, okay, this is the mission for this trip, and this is the mission for this trip. So I plan to do better in this year. So please continue to motivate me, remind me to do things, remind me to vlog and to make videos. But I will do a lot more sit down and chatting videos, because I feel like there's so much that I want to talk about, and I feel like a lot of us are older now. So it's like, we're all busy, we're all doing things, we're all, you know, juggling kids and work. So even if you play my video in the background while you're like, you know, feeding the kids, or like doing dishes, cleaning the house, you know, working on whatever, you know, at least I'm still here. You can play me in the car on your way to work. You know, I'll just be here looking like this, but you don't have to watch the video all times. You can play it, you know, in the car while you're driving to work. So I will be doing a lot more sit down chatty videos. So I feel like I have a lot of things to talk about, offload, vent, get off my mind, you know, and also share and like, you know, motivate you guys on certain things. So anyways, the first one, so let me start from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So sit down, enjoy, grab a snack, you know, get comfy. It's going to be a long video, okay? Okay, so when I started 2025, you know, I was on maternity leave. I had Zara November of 2024, and it feels like I had her last month. Literally, that's how it feels. I had her, it's 2026, I had her in 2024. But it feels like I had her last month. That's how fast 2025 went. But yeah, so I was coming off maternity leave as 2025 started, and my maternity leave ended right in the middle of February. So when I was coming off leave, you know, before I had Zara, I was a manager, you know, a manager at, you know, in retail pharmacy. Juggling a store. I've done a video on this. If you missed it, go back and check it out. But I was can't even talk. I was a manager at a struggling store, and when they needed someone, I took over the position, rehired, you know, all the staff, restructured the whole pharmacy, brought it back up to code with the board of pharmacy. So it was a big undertaking that I did, and it was a lot of work. And, you know, I was working a lot, still working a lot, even when I was pregnant. My dad was just like, I don't understand how you're working and you're fully blown pregnant. I'm like, well, you know, 1, you got to love the job. 2, you got to do what you got to do. Okay. So I did what I had to do, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that time. So coming off maternity leave, middle of February, I will have 2 kids now, and I won't be able to work 60, 70 hours a week. I won't be able to work until 9, 10 p.m. at night and come home, you know, at 11 o'clock. I can't do that. I have a newborn and I have another child. So I had to make the decision to step down from management in retail pharmacy and float around and be PRN. So we call it floating pharmacist or PRN pharmacist, but I would cut back on my hours. So I just took off 10 hours off my regular hours that I'm scheduled. I cut down by 10 hours, and I decided to do PRN and float. And I said that I only want to work morning shifts. So luckily they were able to accommodate me. And they owe me that because of all the work that I've done with this company. So they owe me. They owed me that, and they gave it to me. But I only wanted to do morning shifts. And I only wanted to do floating PRN pharmacist. So that means that, you know, you work at stores that need extra coverage, extra help, or if there's stores that just have 1 pharmacist, but they actually need 2, like you fill in the gaps of the, you know, of the shifts and stuff like that. So I loved it. I love it. I'm still doing it now. I love it because I needed it
because one, it gave me flexibility, so I make my own schedule. So I tell them, okay, this is my availability this week, this is my availability next week, or this is my availability for the month. And then they plan around your availability. So you have better flexibility. I have better flexibility with dictating my schedule and saying this is when I can work and this is when I cannot work, which was great. It gave me more variety. So I'm able to go to different stores throughout the week, gave me more variety throughout my work day, helped the day go by faster with the variety for me. And it just helped me be at home more, be able to take care of my baby and my other child. And it just gave me a different pace. But also I wanted it to open up more opportunities for me to work different industry pharmacy jobs, because I feel like as I said before in my other videos, I've reached my peak in retail pharmacy. I've done it. I've done everything. And I have so much in me, and I have so much more skill than the average pharmacist that I'm around. So I want to challenge my skills, use my skills in other ways in pharmacy and healthcare. So I told myself, okay, when I step down from management, when I go back into the workforce, I'm going to, cut down on hours here in retail and then venture out into other industries. And in my mind, I was like, in the perfect world, I'll work my retail job. I would love to finally be able to find my dream job. My dream job has always been to be a manager, a director of a pharmacy that's a startup. Because I want to go, I've done business launches for years now, and I love the work that it takes to go from zero to launching. I've done it for myself, I've done it for other people, I've done it for family and friends. But I wanted to apply what I know, what I've done into healthcare, into pharmacy. I wanted to marry the two. So I said, okay, there's a way that I can be a part of a startup that wants to open up a pharmacy, and I'm there at the beginning to bring it from zero to launch. And then I also want to work from home. I don't want to work from home every day, but I also want to work from home. I'm not a work from home person. I like to leave the house, get dressed, and go somewhere. But at times, I do like to work from home. I like the flexibility. I like okay, I'm still working, but I can be at home, taking care of my kids, being present, but I'm still working. And then I also want to work in a mail order closed door pharmacy, so I can have more insights on the business side of pharmacy. So all those things I just listed, that's what I wanted to do when I'm coming on maternity leave. That's what I wanted to do. And I knew that I was saying things that were kind of out of reach, kind of delulu, kind of like, okay, in a perfect world, that would be great. But in reality, like, how can you do all of them, and how can you find those positions? So I was determined to figure something out. If I can't get that, let me get something that's kind of like that. So I told myself that first I need to figure out where can I find these opportunities. So one, I've always applied and watched job markets since I became a pharmacist 13 years ago. Is that 13 years ago now? Yeah. Ooh, I don't even know. Wait. 6 by 4. So this year will be 14 years I've been a pharmacist. So I don't know why I've always done this from day one, but I've always looked at the job market just to see what's going on, see what's out there. I may not apply. I may apply over the years, even though I don't have a job. But for some reason, I've always just been keen to watching the job market, see what jobs pop up, see what companies are hiring pharmacists. And I do it almost every single day of my life for the past 14 years in pharmacy. So anytime someone calls me or asks me or like, oh, I'm looking for a job, I always know, oh, this company's hiring, they're hiring for part-time, full-time, this state, that state. Like, I just always know because I always follow the job market. I always apply for jobs. I always watch for job postings, etc. Oh, I hope I don't have a lash in my eye. Come on, I do. Got it out. Thank God. So besides the looking at job things, I've learned over the years that a lot of job openings happen and are saved for word of mouth or referrals. So I reached out to all my contacts that are pharmacists in Ohio that I know and just asked them like, hey, this is Iffy. Just want to see how you're doing, and if you know of any companies or any positions that are available. This is kind of like what I'm looking for. I just had a baby, you know. I said, if you do see anything, just keep me in mind, let me know. So I literally texted everybody, every pharmacist in Ohio that I know. And people, you know, said, oh, I think I know this company's hiring, or, you know, gave me some contacts and stuff like that. And there was actually one contact that contacted me in 2024 when I was pregnant, right before my maternity leave. And I never responded because it was at like just at the wrong time for me. You know, my mindset was about to go maternity leave. You know, I don't have the mental space to be like responding to this job offering that someone was, you know, giving me. And in my mind, I wasn't there looking for a new job or looking for a different situation. So when I was now in 2025, when I was like, wait, I need to contact people, I remembered that person that texted me a year ago. And I went back to the message and replied them and said, you know, hey, this is Iffy. You know, you contacted me last year. I was right about to have a baby. I wasn't in the right headspace, but I just want to reach out if you know of any openings, you know, because the person that contacted me was an owner of a company that had a pharmacy. So I said, you know, so I assumed that they found what they were looking for, you know, a year ago. So I said, if you know of any openings in this area in Ohio, you know, let me know. I just wanted to reach out. Ooh. They replied me quickly and were like, oh, we're actually still looking for a PRN pharmacist, and this is how much it pays. And the pay was like so good. And I was just like, oh yes. I said yes. Because I was like, you know, I'll just take, I want to take whatever opportunities that present themselves as good for me, I'm going to take it. That's what I told myself this year. I'm going to say yes to anything that propels me more in the direction of where I'm trying to go. So I said, yes, I would love to, you know, have the opportunity. So they said, okay, you know, next week come for an interview. So I got ready for that. Now, when I went for an interview, and then the next day I got a missed call, and it was a voicemail from a company. And then I was about to delete. I was actually on my phone going through my voicemails to delete them. And you know, your phone reads your messages, like it reads the voice. There was voice to text. So I was kind of reading like what the person was saying. And they were like, oh, I'm from so-and-so pharmacy. I saw your application. Your resume looks really good. I would love to talk to you to see if you're interested in the open pharmacist position. You know, we're a mail order independent pharmacy. And I was like, mail order, that's what I wanted. So I said, oh my gosh, I was about to delete this voicemail, but good thing I read it. So I called the company back, and the person that called me was the owner of the pharmacy. They called me back, and I was like, hey, like sorry I missed your call. I'm interested in the position. And they needed someone so bad that they interviewed me then and there, and then they hired me, and they were like, can you come in tomorrow? And as I said, any opportunity that comes to me, I'm there. And the pay was good, really good. So when I say the pay was good, so now I have these two jobs that are saying, oh, come in, you know, we want you. You know, what I was getting paid as a manager at CVS, they beat my pay. So as I said, this was a step up, a progress into where I'm trying to go. As I said, remember, I reached my peak in retail pharmacy, so I want to do something more. So I went for the interview. The first job that said, oh yeah, come in for the PRN, I went in for the interview. Then the other job, that the next day that I called back, I went the next day to meet, you know, the staff and see the building, see the pharmacy. And then I started like a couple days later. You know, they were like, quick. I was just like, say less. I'm here. So yeah, so I started that. So that job I started, as I said, right away. Then the other job I had the next week, I had the interview, and then I didn't hear back from them for like a long time. I emailed somebody, because when we left I did the interview, we were done. And they were talking about, you know, we have this pharmacy, we just need a PRN person, the manager is here. We just need a strong PRN person. And I said, okay. And then they said, we're also also in the future going to be opening up a new pharmacy. Ding, ding, ding. I was like, oh, I'm very interested in that, because in my mind I was saying I was interested because I want to be a part of the new pharmacy. That's my dream job. So I was crossing my fingers hoping that they would call me back, to work with them. So the second people that the other job that they wanted me right away, I started that. So I started working that, and it was only 2 days a week, Thursdays, Fridays, and it was good hours, good pay. It worked with my other job my regular job that I'm working, my retail job. Because on my retail job, when I went down in hours, I only worked 3 days a week. So I had the other 2 days of the week to work the other job. So it was perfect. It was a different setting. It was mail order, a different pace, everything was just different. A good opportunity for me to be exposed to something different, which was good. So I worked that job. Now, the job that I had an interview with, that was a PRN position, they didn't get back to me for a long time. There was a time when I kind of just checked it up and said, okay, maybe I wasn't a good fit. So I kind of forgot about it. Then one day I got a random email and they were like, oh, so sorry for the delay. It's been crazy here at the clinic, but we'd love to have you on as PRN pharmacist. This is your pay. Here's your offer letter. Can you start next week? And I was just like, yes, I can. So that position, it was PRN. So anytime the manager needed a day off, they had a vacation, I covered. So it could have been 1 or 2 days in a month that I would have worked there and covered the shift. So I took that job. So now I have 3 jobs. So yeah, and it just worked. Everything worked out just how it worked out with the 3 jobs. It worked perfectly. Everyone, it was a whole dance of just working out perfectly. So there was never a day where it's like, oh, that this job needs me and I'm working this one. No, it just worked out perfectly. As I said, my main job, retail job, I make my schedule. So I kind of knew beforehand of the month forecast, what days I needed to be at the second job and what days I needed to be at the third job. So it just worked out perfectly. So now if he's working 3 jobs. Now, the next week, a job that I applied to a long time ago emailed me back and said, hey, we'd love to set up an interview. And I was just like, interview for what? And I was like, so I looked up the company in my emails to figure out, when you apply for a job and it says, oh, thank you for applying, we'll be back with you. I had to look up in my email, what job was this that I applied to? And then it was work from home nights. And I was just like, say less, I need this too. So I replied to the email. I said, oh yes, I would love to interview next week. This is my availability for the interview. And when I went to the interview, I just reconfirmed, okay, this is a work from home and it's night position. And they were like, yes. And I said, oh, perfect. And I said, and the hours are pretty flexible. So I can start my evening shift whenever, and they know that I work another job. So whenever I get off that work, I get off work from the other job, my main job, I come home, I can work this. And it's just a few hours in the evening. And if there's any day that you want to work any other hours, if you have time in the morning, on your lunch break, or on the weekends, you can work. Because this company I work for is a very big company. They have a pharmacy, and there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of prescriptions that need verification that they were building out this work from home team for. So I was the new division of the work from home team. So I was the first pharmacist to be hired for this work from home team division. So I'm joining a progressive, digital health company, which I'm so excited about because it's a different environment for me in pharmacy. They were growing. I love to work in growing environments in startups. They're a startup. And then I'll just be working from home doing verification. Now if he has 4 jobs, when I tell you this is what I asked for and this is what the universe gave me, this is what God gave me, you can't tell me that manifestation isn't real. You can't tell me that being intentional with what you want out of the world is not real. So now if he's working 4 jobs and the 4 jobs just work perfectly together. Every job has its time frame throughout my week, throughout the month that just works perfectly. And that's how I was able to work 4 jobs easily in my life while being a mom, while being a business owner, while being a wife. So juggling 4 jobs, pay is good. My pay is great. You know, I have these goals and plans, you know, to beef up my investment portfolio. That was my goal for 2025, was to beef up my investment portfolio. So I wanted to invest 35 to 40% of my income this year into investments, and like ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, all that stuff like that. I can do a whole video on that. I'm no expert, but I know what I know, and I've understood it, and I'm doing very well in it. So I said, this is my goal. I want to do this. And I feel like my investment portfolio is behind. You know, it's not as good as it's supposed to be in my age bracket, my age group. So that was my goal for 2025, was to beef up my investment portfolio. So with dedicating 35 to 40% of your income, I knew that I would have to be very mindful of my spending, very conscious of things that I'm, as I said, spending, and what I want to buy, and what I want to do, things like that. You know, my monthly budget, I got to stick to it. So I felt like, why is that like that? Anyway, so I felt like, I did be very money conscious of myself this year. Hopefully my screen isn't, let me turn my car off. Maybe my camera's like overheating, which it could be, very well could be. All right, hopefully I'm not as dark as it looks like in real life. So yeah, so I wanted to be, so I was very budget conscious. I was very intentional with my spending, and I felt the living of paycheck to paycheck, because I said, this is my budget for this month, and I cannot go over this. And if I'm at the end of what I budgeted, you're gonna have to manage the last dollars of this budget you have until the next month. So I did that to myself every month of 2025. It was hard. There were times when I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, you know, like this big things come up, and it's just like, this is not what I planned for. But I did it, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so happy. And my investment portfolio, like, what? I was going over my investment portfolio with Chris like 2 nights ago. I was showing him my updates and what I've been doing, how things have been going. And he was like so shocked. He was like, wow, that's good. That's a lot. And I was like, I know. And I remember, like, when I opened I use Vanguard. When I opened my Vanguard account, I rolled over my old 401k when I used to work with Walmart. Years ago, I left it in there all this time. So I finally rolled it over to my Vanguard. So when I had my rolled over 401k, I had the company I work for now in retail, they have their own 401k, which just happened to be with Vanguard, which is great. So everything is in one account. That was there. And then my brokerage account, and then my IRA account. So I had all 4 of those accounts under my Vanguard. So I just remember looking at the number. I was like, this is so low. It's so small. But you know what? I'm not going to let it discourage me. It's going to grow. I'm going to be very good this year. And the place that it is now, I feel like I didn't even see, like, when did my account get to this level that I started with? And now, how it is now, like, oh my gosh, like, I can't even believe. But I'm so proud of myself. So that was my big goal and what I focused on in 2025. So now, beefing up our portfolio, if he's working 4 jobs, now we are traveling. So the first trip we had was Costa Rica. That was for Lawrence's 40th birthday. We had so much fun. I did vlog that, so if you missed the vlog, check that out. But we went to Costa Rica. We came back from Costa Rica. I actually got a call from that one of the pharmacy positions that I work at as the PRN, where they kind of wanted to do a consult with me. And I'm a very experienced and seasoned pharmacist. I'm a very good pharmacist. I will say that. Not only because I know that, but because people have told me, places I've managed and people that have worked with me, they tell me this all the time. And a lot of technicians that I work with in pharmacy, they follow me. They, like, if I'm working at one place, and they'll be like, oh, like, when are you working again? Or when are you coming back? Or like, hey, if you need help in another store, like, I want to come and get extra hours. So a lot of technicians follow me in other stores, and other technicians notice that if I need help with another store, I need to call technicians, they come. And one time, one of my technicians told me, she was like, wow, like, you must be a good pharmacist because people will drive hours just to come work with you just for 8 hours of the day, just because you're you. And I said, yeah, I know. Like, I do this intentionally. I want to be a good pharmacist and I want to be easy to work with. But I also want to create an environment where we get shit done and we're making progress and we're a good team. So I'm a good pharmacist. So, and people notice that. So this job that I'm at as PR, I'm just a PRN pharmacist. They said, can we do a consult with you? Because the owners are not pharmacists. So they were like, can we do a consult with you? Because we want to get your insight on how you view the pharmacy. We want to get some feedback from you. And also, could you help us, do X, Y, and Z? So I said, okay. So we had a couple consults. And then I said to myself, why don't I pitch to them or propose to them for me to come on as a director to oversee the clinic and the new pharmacy that they want to build, and to help them, because I can be of help. I've done this so many times. I can do this with my eyes closed. So I proposed it to them and they were happy about it. They accepted enthusiastically. So then now, Iffy, that was a PRN person for this company, now I'm the pharmacy director. In a span of, let's say, March, April, May, 8 weeks. Imagine you come into a company and the company sees so much potential and value in you that in 8 weeks you're coming on as you changed from a PRN to a director. I mean, I have to just congratulate myself on that. I'm a good pharmacist. So I was so happy. I'm so excited. And I put in so much work. From that day, I accepted the position as director till this day in that pharmacy. I changed that pharmacy around. I put in so much work. We've hired more pharmacists to staff. We've grown so much. Our volume has grown so much. Our profits are great. So now I'm on the director, business side, startup side, launch side of pharmacy. So we have another pharmacy that we're building, a clinic that we're building, renovating, and that will open up in a few months. So I get to have my dream job. I get to be on that startup side, that zero to launch side. This is like my happy place. This is like my specialty. This is my passion. Like, I love being here in this place. So, all right, my camera actually overheated, so I had to let it cool off a little bit. But anyways, I don't even know where I was saying. I don't know. But let's move on. Okay, so after Costa Rica, like a week later, we turn around and we go to Greece. Greece was oh my God, it was such an amazing trip. It was so good. It was I think my third time going to Greece, and it was Chris's and the kids' first time. Oh my God, I wish I could have stayed there forever. Greece is my number one place to travel. I love Greece. It's my favorite getaway. It's my favorite escape. I love Greece so much. And I've barely explored Greece, to be honest, but I love Greece so much. So first we went to Athens, and then we went to Santorini, and we got this huge villa just for the four of us. It had I don't even remember how many bedrooms it had, but it was so big. It had so many bedrooms. We barely used the bedrooms, but we wanted to stay in a place that was just luxurious, felt like we were in a cave. Had space, and we just felt comfortable. It was so beautiful. So we plan to stay there again next time we go to Greece. But we had so much fun. So after Greece, that was Greece. We came back in June. Cam started summer camp. Still working my 4 jobs. And then I think the next month when as I said before, I came on as a director. There was a time that they really needed me more in clinic and to be doing a lot more things. So that's when I had to cut off one of my jobs. And I cut off the job that I did Thursday, Fridays, which was okay because what I was taking on with the director position it replaced the other job's income by far, so which was fine. So I wasn't losing out on anything, and I was doing more hours, all that stuff like that. So it was good. So now I'm down to 3 jobs, and I'm still the same three jobs till today. And I'm loving it, been enjoying it. And then we went to London in September for Chris's brother's wedding, and it was so much fun. Oh my gosh, that was my first time in London, and I didn't think I would like it because I feel like, I don't know, maybe I feel like London never called me to like come and explore, but I enjoyed it so much. I was like, feels like going to like New York City, but New York City's the whole country. That's what I felt like, and Chris and I both enjoyed it. We went with the kids and with my mom. So we got a really big Airbnb in London, and it was great. It was comfortable. We enjoyed the time there, and we want to go back to London so bad. And we want to like make London like a weekend thing, like, fly to London on a Friday or a Thursday, come back on a Sunday night, because it just has that vibe that I never knew existed, but I love it there. And I got to do a meetup with some of my followers. So we did like a dinner, and it was like the dinner was like just chill. It was cool. I got to just talk with them and get to know them and stuff like that. We had so much fun, so much good talks. We talked about everything. Like it was so good. So it was so fun. And then so next time a lot of other people wanted to come to the dinner, but the thing is that at that time we were in London, I think there was a strike, and then the train system was down. So a lot in London relies on the trains and stuff like that. So a lot of people weren't able to come because the trains were down. And I even was so late to the dinner because I had to figure out how to get from one side of London to the dinner where we had our dinner at. So my last resort was to take an Uber, expensive Uber that was over it. I think the Uber was like 2 hours. Took me 2 hours because the trains were down, so then everybody was on the road, and London isn't like the US. It's not big, so things are narrow, so it was traffic. So it was like 2 hours in an Uber. Like, imagine how expensive that was. But I made it there, and everything worked out fine and perfect like that. Chris is calling me. Hello, babe. Yeah, I'm fine. I went to the Goodwill to drop off those items. They gave me a receipt, and then I went to the post office to drop the mail, and then I'll get lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm okay. I'll probably go to Starbucks.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're good.
And then I'm gonna order the groceries too.
Okay. Because I sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joy is just waking up.
Oh.
Woke up, slept back.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Which is good because we have just one now.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
That's why I was not so bothered. Anytime she woke up, I waited. She didn't like stand up.
Yeah.
That's all bad. So that way, she'll have a long wake up time.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
How was drop off?
Oh, it was perfect. It was good. I told them about the yogurt, so. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye. All right. So, I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, London. So we thoroughly enjoyed London. It was so fun. So then my next trip that I had, let's see. Oh, you know what? Yeah. The next trip I had was, I went to Turks and Caicos in December with one of my good family friends, Nike. We've been friends since we were babies. Our parents are actually friends, and we've been friends since we were babies. So, and we've lived in the same city back when we were in college. So we've kept very, very close throughout the decades. But we randomly, she was like, "Hey, when's your next weekend off? Like, let's go somewhere." And I said, "Say less." So we were on the phone. I remember I was in a nail salon getting my nails done, and she was like, "Okay, where can we go?" And I said, "Wherever I said, just go on Google Flights and click your location and then just tell it anywhere, and then give the see the options, and then whichever one's the cheapest to go, we'll just go. So we did that, and we had a lot of options, but Turks and Caicos. So I was like, yeah, let's do Turks and Caicos. So we just chose Turks and Caicos, and this was 2 weeks before we were gonna go. So it was just like plan, like, and these types of trips that I do, these types of like getaway girl trips, not girls group trip, just getaway girl trip. I don't do too much mental planning in it. It just pick a location, book your flight. That's it. The day before we leave, we'll book a hotel where we're staying, and that's it. Like, no plans, no nothing. Because I plan so much in my life that it's like I need moments of no planning. We just show up, and then whatever the trip and the day takes us, we just do it. So we picked a location. We booked our Turks and Caicos. We booked our flights that day. Then maybe a week later, we booked our hotel that we're going to be staying at, this resort, this beautiful villa. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful in Grace Bay area. It was so nice. Like our hotel, the back of our hotel was beach. So like as you leave the back of the hotel, you just walk onto the beach. Like it's right there. It was so good. So we went to Turks and Caicos. We relaxed. We slept in. I got to sleep in. Like, oh, I needed that sleep in. I needed to relax. I needed the sun. Like, oh, it was everything. So it was so good. So yeah, so those are all my trips I had this year. I want to talk about the Motherhood brunch. So you guys remember I had a Motherhood brunch in April in Houston, and the brunch was like a dream come true for me. Like the planning was hard, but it was worth it. The event was even more successful than I could have ever imagined. Everything worked out perfectly. Everyone that showed up, like the room was full. Like I'm still like in awe of like how I was able to pull this live event together when I live in Ohio, and the event was in Houston, across the country. And I didn't come to the city for the event until the day before. And I had an amazing team that helped me, put it together. My assistants, the people on ground at the Four Seasons, that helped me put it all together and stuff like that. And me just being a daughter of a professional event coordinator, event planner, the planning wasn't so hard. It was just executing by myself remotely on a bigger scale. So, and my first event, my first brunch event, my first hosting event, like my first of everything. So I had an amazing experience. I'm so proud of myself that I pulled it off, and it was successful. People loved it. People were asking me, when's the next one? I can do this every year. And like, yes, I want to do this every year. So now I'm in the beginning stages of planning for the next brunch, the Motherhood brunch for 2026. So like literally right under my video. Anyway, so the Motherhood brunch for 2026. So let me know what city you would love me to host a brunch in. My top places are DC, DMV area, Atlanta, Chicago. Those are my top three. I'll keep it top three. So those are my top three. So if you live in those cities, if you live close to those cities, let me know below, if, it's close to me, I want to come, so that I can pick and see, like, where should I do my next one. My first one, as I said, was in Houston. I have a lot of my follower base is based in Houston. So that's why I chose it first. And the other cities that I chose, a lot of my follower base is based in those cities as well. So if you live in those cities, close to those cities, like if you live like in New York or something, or Philly, would you come to DMV if I had it there? If you live close to Atlanta, if you live somewhere in Georgia, would you come? If you live close to Illinois or Chicago, would you come? Because when I did in Houston, people came from all over. And I can't even believe that. People came from Boston. People came from New York. People came from Chicago. People came from DC. People came from California. People came from Louisiana. People came from Florida. People came from Oklahoma. Like, I can't believe that people traveled so far just to come and have an afternoon brunch with me. it makes me emotional because sometimes, like, I don't even know. Sometimes, like, I feel like I overthink some things and I play small and I doubt myself on my impact, and I sometimes let people that get uncomfortable around me, you know, kind of dictate or, sway me into thinking or doing something, less than what I can do. And sometimes I don't even understand or realize the impact that I have, the amount of people that, like, that have been following me since the beginning. So, like, when I think about, like, people came from all over to come to my event, little me, little Iffy that lives in from Ohio, little Ohio, me. Sometimes it seems so, like, unreal. And one of the things that I told myself this year in 2026 is that I'm not going to play small anymore. And I'm not going to let people that are around me that feel uncomfortable around me because of their own situation. It's not even me, it's themselves. When they're around me, they see a reflection of themselves that they wish that they could be, or, they wish they could do. And that's not my fault. That's not my doing. That's not my responsibility. I just focus on myself and my family. My family and when I talk about my family, I say my family as in my husband and my kids. I focus on myself, and I need to be more selfish with my time and my energy. But that just got me emotional, but I'll get into more of what I want to focus on in 2026 at the end of the video. So anyways, the Motherhood brunch, it was amazing, and I can't wait to do it again this year. So I'm planning which city. So let me know below, what city would you think would be best? As I said, the DMV area, Atlanta, or Chicago. Or if you have another city to mention, let me know below. And would you come? But yeah, so Motherhood brunch, I cannot wait. All right, so I did in October, I did a master plan intensive for 2026 where I kind of gave a private group an insight onto how I manage my time, my life, my career, motherhood, wifehood, with all my jobs and with all my businesses and with content creation, how I do time management, family management, setting goals, planning things, being efficient, taking advantage of my 24 hours, how I structure my day, structure my finances, my mindset, how I build my mindset, how I structure my mindset to be able to do everything. And I'm so happy. I hesitated to do it because I was like, no one would want it. Like, who wants to sit here and listen to me talk about how I plan things? But people came, and I'm so happy and grateful because I live for things like this. This is what gives me passion. This is what makes me excited. Like, I could talk forever about this stuff. So the fact that so many people wanted to join and be a part of it makes me so grateful. So people had so many things to take away, so many things to apply to their life. But it was mainly an intensive to master plan the new year, the 2026, and how you do it and how you structure it. So after that, there were a lot of people that wanted to do one-on-ones with me to guide them through the year, to be able to, because, it was a group thing, but they wanted more one-on-ones to be more, more tailored to their lifestyle, and for me to help them through things and think through things. And I do one-on-ones a lot. It's, I do a lot of one-on-ones with business. A lot of people that have businesses, business ideas, they, want to launch. They already have a business but need to, grow up more. I do a lot of one-on-ones with them. And I don't advertise my one-on-ones like that because I get so many requests to do one-on-ones, and it's only one person, it's only me. So I don't advertise it so much so people won't flood my inbox. But people that do, ask me through email, through DM, I reply them and say, okay, this is how I structure my one-on-ones. What do you want help with? And it's a whole different thing. But after that, you know, people are saying, I want to do one-on-ones with you, but like with more in depth with this concept of planning, master planning, goal setting, you know, juggling career, you know, being a wife, you know, having a business. So I'm in the process of developing kind of like a blueprint for what I want to, you know, give out to people that are interested when they ask me. I'm not going to advertise it because I'm going to get a whole inbox flood of people saying, yes, I want to do this. And I'm only one person. I don't have many hours in the day and the week to be able to help everybody. But I always say the people that really need it, that really want it, they will come and find me. And they do. So I plan to do that, have that. It's already almost all done. Just the concept that I'll email out to the people that, you know, were asking after the session that we did. Because I'm only going to email them, the people that came. But yeah, I'm giving a little insight for people that watch this video. If you need help or would like a one-on-one with me to kind of help set you up on how to, you know, juggle everything, you know, whether it be business-wise, family-wise, time management, career, like we touch on everything in this master plan. So let me know, you know how to find me. That's how I'll keep it. If you really want it, you know how to find me. Oh yeah, so the next thing I have, so when I did the motherhood brunch, my biggest sponsor was Tropez Tea, and Tropez Tea was actually started and owned by one of my good college friends, and he owns the company, he manufactures the tea, like he does everything. He's like amazing, and like for me, he's a good mentor for me to like go to and like, you know, ask questions and like learn a lot of things from. So I loved working with him. When we did the motherhood brunch, he was the biggest sponsor for the brunch. So this year, they proposed for me to do a partnership with them, like a long-term partnership with them on my platforms, on my social media. So some videos, they're sponsor. Some of my YouTube videos, they'll sponsor. Some of my Instagram posts, they'll sponsor. So you'll see me doing, you know, sponsorship, partnership videos with Tropez Tea. And it's just me mentioning them, highlighting them, shouting them out. But the content that I'll be doing is just, you know, my regular content that I always do that you guys love. So, but I'm asking for you guys to engage and support with those posts that when I do them, my videos when I do them, you know, go to their website, you know, order their teas. Their teas are high quality, sourced naturally. Like their teas are so good. And they have like immunity tea. They have, if you're like a breastfeeding, they have breastfeeding tea that help you with Then my battery dies. Good thing I have another battery. So yeah. So they have. All right. So as I said, they have immunity tea. They have breastfeeding tea. They have hibiscus tea. They have so many teas that, you know, cater to whatever, you know, you want to address health wise. So check out their website, order their teas, share it with your friends, family. Their teas are so good. Like I drink it every day, every week. So I thoroughly enjoy that. So please support them and support my content when I post that this video or this post is sponsored by or in partnership with Tropez Tea. Next agenda is baby number 3. So I ask you to please pray and send baby dust my way because we wanted to have baby number 3 as soon as possible. I want to have baby number 3 as soon as possible. One, because we always wanted 3 kids, and I want to be done with my childbearing season, so I can get my body back, you know, so I can be my best self. So please pray for me for baby number 3, and I'm praying and I hope that baby number 3 will come in 2026. So please pray for me, send baby dust my way, you know, send all the good vibes my way. And then before I end the video, I want to talk about Nkoma. So this year, I'm in my expansion phase for Nkoma. So I want to build out different departments and teams for the business because I've carried the business by myself with my small team up to where we are today. But I've gotten to a point where I'm trying to go, I need to build out and create a bigger team, you know. So I'm working on new products. Especially bags. I feel like bags have always been my passion in life, and I want to create an iconic Nkoma signature bag. I've created many bags over the years, but I feel like I'm still looking for like my signature bag. So all of you guys who have bought products over the years, are my robes, bonnets, PJ sets, accessories, thank you so much. I get so many messages, so many orders. Like some there'll be some times when I don't even send campaigns, I don't even send emails, I don't even like post on our business page, because I'm in the process of revamping everything and building out teams and stuff like that. That this 2025, I didn't do as much, as I usually do. And people were still there. People were still ordering, especially during the December season. I had so many people, ordering gifts and stuff for family and friends. So it's like, I'm so proud of what I've built, and I can see where the business thrives and lives, even if I'm not physically in it or sending emails or, doing posts. People are still here. People are still finding me from random places all over the world. So I'm grateful for what I've built. I'm excited for what's to come. But yeah, I plan to do my two big projects this year for Nkoma is to do more collaborations with influencers, and more PR runs and launches. So creating a PR box of new products and also other self-care products that are related to our brand, that go with our brand, that I want to create for PR releases, and also customers can also buy the PR boxes as well. So I'm really investing a lot of time and energy into curating these PR packages. So I'm so excited, and also plan to be more present on TikTok. A lot of businesses have found, new customers and new avenues on TikTok. So first I need to learn TikTok, because like I haven't really done much on TikTok. So I need to learn TikTok, and then also learn how to come on as a business and selling on TikTok, like TikTok live selling. So that's something I need to teach myself. I need to immerse myself in. So 2025, I dedicated to getting my pharmacy career to where I need it to be, to feel happy, content, and to grow. And now this year, I'm focusing on building or expanding my business, Nkoma business, so I can get it to where, the place where I always dream for it to be at. So yeah, so that's my 2025. I hope this video is long, but enjoyable. Thank you for listening and being here and supporting me. You guys have supported me through everything, and I thank you so much for that. And I can't wait to read all your comments. Share with your family and friends. Let them know about whatever I talked about that would be interesting to them. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.